The Baltimore Ravens got absolutely steamrolled last week, and let's be honest here, we're still not over it. The score might have been respectable, the offense might have found ways to put up 30 points, but anyone who watched that game against the Detroit Lions knows it wasn't close. It wasn't competitive. It wasn't the type of game you expect from a team with Super Bowl aspirations. The Ravens didn't just lose, they got bullied. And what's worse, they got bullied on their home field, in front of their own fans, without even putting up a fight. That's the kind of loss that stings long after the final whistle, the kind that exposes all the cracks you tried to ignore when your team was scoring over 40 points in back-to-back weeks. And now, there's no time to sulk, because up next is a familiar beast, the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, the Ravens and the Chiefs. Two teams sitting at 1 win and 2 losses. Two teams desperate to avoid falling into the 1-3 hole that could define the rest of their season. And when you talk about struggles, both these teams are deep in it, but for very different reasons. Let's start with Baltimore. The offense has shown it can score. 30 against Detroit, 41 against the Browns, 40 against Buffalo. That's not nothing. That's elite-level output, especially when you consider the defenses they've been facing. But here's the problem. It's all looking shaky under the surface. Derrick Henry, the guy who's supposed to be your reliable workhorse, has turned into a fumble machine. 3 games, 3 fumbles, and each one at the absolute worst possible moment. It's not just about losing the ball. It's about when and where those turnovers happen. And now every defense knows it. They're going after him. You think Andy Reid and that Chiefs defensive staff didn't see what the Bills, Browns, and Lions already did? Believe me, they're going to be punching at that ball every single time Henry touches it. It's become a predictable weakness, and predictability is the last thing you want in an offense. And that's another issue. The Ravens have become way too easy to read. You see Derrick Henry in the backfield? 99% chance it's a run. You see number 43, Justice Hill, subbed in? Now it's a pass. Every team can see it coming. And don't even get started on Keaton Mitchell, the electric, explosive back who's been inactive for the first 3 weeks. Ravens fans are confused. Why is this dude on the sideline when the offense clearly needs a spark? Coach John Harbaugh said that using Mitchell telegraphs the play, like it's a problem to put the ball in the hands of one of your most dynamic players. That kind of logic is exactly what's been holding this offense back. You've got talent. You've got scoring. But you also have coaching decisions that leave you scratching your head, time after time. Bad clock management. Questionable play calling in crucial moments. An offensive line that can't protect long enough to let Lamar Jackson do what he does best. And yet, this team is still putting up points. That's the most frustrating part for Ravens fans. The offense is putting in work, but everything around it feels like it's teetering on the edge. Now let's flip the script and look at the Kansas City Chiefs. We're not used to seeing Patrick Mahomes and the boys struggle this much. But let's call it what it is. The offense right now looks anemic. They have no real run game. Wide receiver 1, out. Wide receiver 2, also out. Rashee Rice is suspended until week 7. Travis Kelce, still a top-tier tight end, but he's not what he used to be, and at this point, he shouldn't have to carry the whole thing. The entire offense has been put on Mahomes' shoulders once again, and while he's capable of magic, even the best need support. And it's not just about who's missing. It's about what's happening on the field. Elijah Mitchell was signed in the offseason, but he hasn't seen the field. Rookie Brashard Smith was a wide receiver converted into a running back. The guy has 1 year of experience at the position and has barely been used. The Chiefs are dead last in explosive run plays, and for stretches of the season, Mahomes was their leading rusher. That's how bad it's gotten. And the weirdest part? In the middle of all this, Mahomes still leads the league in passes of over 30 yards. That's not just luck. That's a quarterback trying to do everything himself, extending plays, taking hits, hoping somebody makes a play. But let's be real. You're not beating playoff-caliber teams without a run game, and with Travis Kelce being your only real weapon. You're not beating teams like Baltimore if all you have is Mahomes improvising. And the Chiefs know it. They've tried to mask it with aggressive downfield shots to guys like Tyquan Thornton and a few moments of brilliance. But overall, it's been tough sledding. Even with Mahomes doing Mahomes things, this offense has a ceiling right now, and that ceiling looks a lot lower than it used to. Now defensively, Kansas City is holding up better, especially against the run. Whether it's Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry, the Chiefs have usually found a way to slow those guys down. And with a guy like Nick Bolton leading the charge, that front seven has the strength and the discipline to contain mobile quarterbacks. That's going to be key against Lamar Jackson, because if you give him space, he will tear you apart, not just as a runner, but with his arm, too. He's got over 200 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in the last game alone. 9 touchdowns on the season, 0 interceptions. He's not just a runner. He's evolved. But the Chiefs know that. They've seen him before. They're going to sell out to stop the run, punch that ball loose from Henry if they can, and spy Lamar all game long. That's what the Lions did. They put out a blueprint. Sit back. Don't engage too early. Force Lamar to try to escape, and then collapse. 7 sacks. That's not a typo. Lamar Jackson got sacked 7 times last week. And Jared Goff, the guy who's supposed to be a statue in the pocket, didn't get touched once. That tells you everything you need to know about Baltimore's offensive line right now. It's not just bad. It's broken. And if Kansas City can get pressure with 4, without having to blitz, they might be able to copy the Lions' homework and turn it in as their own. But let's not get too confident if you're a Chiefs fan. This ain't the New York Giants you're facing. This is a Baltimore team that, despite all the dysfunction, has still scored over 100 points in 3 weeks, and somehow has a losing record. That stat is almost unheard of in the modern era. It tells you that the offense is dangerous, but the defense has been leaking like a busted pipe. Injuries haven't helped either. Nnamdi Matabike? Neck injury, no clear update. Kyle Van Noy? Likely out. And when those pieces are missing, it shows. The front seven doesn't generate pressure, the secondary gets exposed, and you've got quarterbacks picking this team apart week after week. And coaching? Let's talk about that too. On both sides, coaching decisions have raised some eyebrows. Andy Reid's decision to go for it on 4th down from his own 35 didn't convert. Gifted the opponent 3 free points. Stuff like that adds up in close games. And over in Baltimore, it's been the same kind of head-scratching decisions, not just in game, but in how they manage the roster. Why isn't Keaton Mitchell on the field? Why is the offense tipping its hand with substitutions? Why does it feel like this team constantly forgets what works when it matters most? That's the frustration for both fan bases right now. You've got 2 elite quarterbacks. You've got Super Bowl-level expectations. But you're also looking at 2 teams who are lost in their own way, trying to rediscover an identity, trying to stop the bleeding before the season slips away. This game? It's not just another week on the schedule. It's a turning point. One team is going to climb out of the hole. One team is going to fall to 1-3, with even more questions to answer. And even though history favors the Chiefs, especially in the Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson era, this game feels like anything but a guaranteed win. The Ravens are angry. They're embarrassed. And they're desperate. Kansas City? They're beat up, inconsistent, and not the same dominant force we've seen in years past. So who wants it more? Who's going to show up when everything is on the line? Because this matchup is about way more than just numbers. It's about pride, survival, and proving you're still a contender. If the Ravens want to get out of this slump and send a real message to the rest of the league, this is the week to do it. This is the game. Because beating the Kansas City Chiefs, even when they're banged up, even when they're struggling, still means something. It still holds weight. Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. And if there's one thing we've learned over the years, it's that you can never count him out, no matter who's on the field with him. That's what makes this matchup so dangerous. It's not about the paper rosters or the injury reports. It's about 2 quarterbacks who can change a game in a flash, and 2 teams who have had enough of losing. For the Ravens, this game needs to start in the trenches. Because right now, the offensive line is playing like a group that's never met each other before. Missed assignments, poor communication, getting blown off the ball. It's been ugly. And it doesn't matter how electric Lamar Jackson is if he's running for his life every time he drops back. What we saw against the Lions was a clinic in how to collapse the pocket without overcommitting. Detroit rushed 4 and let their linebackers just sit back and wait for Lamar to make his move. And when he did, they pounced. It worked so well, it almost felt like Lamar was running drills against tackling dummies. 7 sacks later, the damage was done. That can't happen again. Not against Kansas City. Because you might not get another game where your offense can bail you out. And that's the wild part. Even with all the chaos up front, the Ravens are still putting up big numbers. That's what's so hard to wrap your head around. They've scored more than 100 points in 3 games, and they're still sitting at 1-2. That tells you just how broken the other phases of this team are. Whether it's the defense getting gashed in crucial moments or the coaching staff just refusing to adapt, something always gets in the way. And if you think Andy Reid isn't going to exploit those weaknesses, think again. He's one of the best in the game when it comes to attacking a defense's soft spots, and right now, the Ravens have plenty of them. On the other side of the ball, the Ravens' defense has to find a way to generate pressure, because so far, it's been a ghost town. Sending 4 hasn't worked. Sending 5 hasn't worked. Sending 6 still doesn't get the job done. There's no identity, no rhythm, no consistency. And that's a problem when you're going up against Mahomes, even if his supporting cast is depleted. The second you give him time, he turns into a magician. He doesn't need much, just a crack of daylight, and the play is extended, the secondary breaks down, and next thing you know you've got a chunk play turning into a touchdown. But the problem is deeper than just the pass rush. Baltimore's defense is missing key guys, and it shows. Without Nnamdi Matabike anchoring the line, and without Kyle Van Noy bringing heat off the edge, it feels like the whole unit is half a step behind. And no one knows how long Matabike is going to be out. Neck injuries are serious. And when Harbaugh gives no timeline, no updates, and no optimism, that usually means the situation isn't good. Ravens fans are worried, and rightfully so. Because without that core up front, you lose any chance of making Mahomes uncomfortable in the pocket. And if he's comfortable, the Chiefs are dangerous. Now, even though Kansas City's offense hasn't looked great, they're still capable of catching fire. That's the frustrating thing. You watch the tape, and you see missed throws, miscommunications, dropped passes, all the signs of a team out of sync. But then you check the stats, and Mahomes is still throwing bombs, still making plays, still somehow keeping them afloat. And part of that is just him being him. The other part? He's getting help from his legs. In the first couple of weeks, Mahomes was their most effective runner. That's how little production they've gotten out of the backfield. But when even that got shut down last week, the offense stalled. One key scramble for a first down got called back because of a penalty. That's the kind of stuff that kills drives. And if Mahomes can't scramble, and he can't trust his receivers, it all comes back to whether or not the Ravens' defense can hold up long enough to force mistakes. But again, it's hard to feel confident in this Ravens defense when the numbers are this ugly. No pass rush, no run defense, missed tackles, wide open receivers in every game. It's not just one problem, it's everything all at once. And that's exactly what makes this matchup so unpredictable. The Chiefs don't run the ball well. Doesn't matter. The Ravens might not be able to stop it anyway. Kansas City's offensive line has looked shaky. Cool. So has the Ravens' pass rush. It's like every weakness is getting lined up across from another weakness, and whichever side collapses first is going to be the one walking off the field with another loss. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In what can only be described as one of the most shocking moments in recent NFL history, Baltimore Ravens head coach John Harbaugh appeared to lose his composure during a live broadcast yesterday, sparking a wildfire of speculation among fans and analysts alike. The usually composed and measured coach was reportedly responding to a question about team dynamics when, in an unexpected outburst, he hinted at a desire to see a player leave the franchise. While Harbaugh did not name names, his intense expression and unfiltered words immediately sent social media into overdrive. Insiders suggest that tensions within the Ravens' locker room have been simmering for weeks, with whispers of disagreements between coaching staff and certain high-profile players. Harbaugh's rare emotional display has only fueled these rumors, leading pundits to speculate on which player might be on the chopping block. Some are pointing fingers at veteran stars whose performance has been under scrutiny, while others believe the outburst could be directed at younger talent struggling to find consistency in key games. The timing of the incident is particularly notable, as the Ravens are navigating a critical stretch of the season where playoff positioning is anything but secure. Analysts argue that such a public revelation, intentional or otherwise, could have ripple effects on team morale, potentially motivating some players while unsettling others. Fans have flooded forums with theories, ranging from trade rumors to outright releases, and sports talk shows are reportedly scrambling to cover every possible angle of the drama. While the Ravens organization has remained tight-lipped following the incident, sources close to the team suggest that internal meetings are already underway to address Harbaugh's comments and manage the fallout. Whether this marks the beginning of a major roster shakeup or simply a momentary lapse in judgment by a passionate coach, one thing is certain. The NFL community will be watching every move of the Ravens in the coming days. In an era where every emotional outburst is dissected and replayed, Harbaugh's candid revelation has guaranteed that speculation, and perhaps real changes, are far from over. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.